Good evening, Esther, the Board of the Urban League of Greater Pittsburgh, honored guests Candy Castleberry Singleton, the family of Bill Nunn Jr., and our wonderful community friends. It is indeed an honor for me, on behalf of WQED, to accept the Ronald H. Brown Leadership Award, especially during the milestone of the award's 25th anniversary year. We are thrilled that our body of work across television, radio, the web, and in good old-fashioned boots-on-the-ground educational initiatives in our community is being recognized for such a coveted honor. WQED, like the Urban League, has been and always will be a transformative presence in the community. We exist to serve every person in southwestern Pennsylvania, to educate and entertain all ages, to celebrate heritage, and to make our society an equal one for all. WQED was founded as the educational station, the first community-supported television station in the nation, and was the forerunner to PBS. Let me take you back 67 years. On April 1st, 1954, television viewers in southwestern Pennsylvania saw the birth of an innovative concept called educational television. Nothing like it had ever been tried before, and it started right here in Pittsburgh. On that night, WQED signed on at Channel 13 on the VHF dial, and history was made. We became known as the classroom of the air. If you were a child of that generation, you might recall the black and white clunky tube TV your teacher wheeled into your classroom, tuned to Channel 13 to watch a scheduled lesson plan. WQED would then come of age in the 1960s, an era of social unrest and change as the civil rights movement gained momentum, anti-war protests raged through cities, the counterculture exploded, and women sought to find their voice and exert their power. Those life-altering moments would shape WQED and public media. Throughout it all, we remained focused on education, helping children understand the world, even in difficult times, and providing programming for adults that offered thoughtful perspective about those changing times. 1968 was an especially tumultuous year. Some would say it was the most historic year in modern history, with the assassinations of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, and riots at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. We were a nation divided by race, culture, socioeconomics, and age. And unfortunately, not much has changed since then.
From the very beginning, WQED has taken the phrase community-owned public television quite seriously.
1968 was also the year that WQED would premiere Black Horizons, which became the longest-running minority public affairs show in the country. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood also premiered on PBS to a national audience in 1968. The following year, Fred Rogers made a television statement when he invited the character Officer Clemens, a black police officer on the show, to cool his feet with him in a small wading pool. It was a small gesture in a small scene of the program. Its symbolism in the late 1960s was hard to miss. Fast forward through the next half-century, and WQED's first black and white signal has grown into a multimedia powerhouse of educational public media. No one could have predicted the WQED of 2021. Today, WQED is woven into the fabric of Pittsburgh and southwestern Pennsylvania. Generations of people and millions of children have been educated, inspired, and entertained through the unsurpassed quality of diverse programming and educational initiatives. WQED provides it all for free to every household in the viewing area. WQED has invested more than 6 decades of listening, learning, and dialoguing with our stakeholders community to gain and express a diversity of perspectives. Throughout our history, we have partnered with hundreds of local community organizations, like the Urban League of Greater Pittsburgh, toward improvements in education, diversity and inclusion, arts and culture, community health, economics, and important local issues through our unique form of journalism. As the only community-owned public media resource in the region, WQED is a convener, a central gathering place, and a conduit for other local nonprofit organizations. You could consider WQED the region's electronic equivalent of the town hall, concert hall, theater, schoolhouse, and public library. Our relationship with the ULPGH is a shining example of how dialogue results in meaningful results. Esther, I think you may remember 6 years ago assembling our teams to discuss the state of Black Pittsburgh, resulting in yearly panel discussions and live studio broadcasts. Pre-COVID, of course, but we look forward to hosting in person again. Exploring and reporting on the needs of the region's African American community earned WQED 2 Robert L. Vann Awards and Mid-Atlantic Emmy nominations in 2018 and 2020. WQED has exported the region nationally with projects like The War That Made America, a 4-part historical documentary on the French and Indian War that aired nationwide on PBS, August Wilson, The Ground on Which I Stand, which aired nationally on PBS American Masters in February 2015. That documentary focused on Pittsburgh native and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright August Wilson's life and work, and included an extensive educational initiative in key cities across the country. In November 2020, PBS aired WQED's latest international documentary, Harbor from the Holocaust. That program told the riveting story of the plight of more than 30,000 Jewish refugees who escaped Nazi Germany in the 1930s and found safe harbor in the port city of Shanghai, China. Right now, we are working on international distribution for Harbor from the Holocaust, and the educational resources we provided for the U.S. market have been translated to Chinese. Pittsburgh is also called out for our national cooking shows with Chris Fenimore, which are about much more than just cooking. They're a community sharing of treasured family recipes and culture. Before the internet, WQED's programming for the LGBTQ community was the only game in town. We aired the nationally produced In the Life for many years and could count on a certain number of complaints every season for airing a gay-themed program. We also produced and aired local documentaries and program segments on the vitality of Pittsburgh's LGBTQ community and its role in the larger community. We used to celebrate Black History Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, Gay Pride Month, the disabled community, and veterans. But we aren't just celebrating in specific months anymore. Inclusion is celebrated across every month on our schedule. In closing, I wish to sincerely thank you on behalf of the board, Community Advisory Board, and staff of WQED for this prestigious honor. This award is as much a celebration of this community as it is for the company itself. We like to say that diversity and equity are in our DNA, and we always strive to be universally inclusive. It's nice to be reminded that we're on the right path. Thank you.